True wisdom gently reveals itself when we finally realize how profoundly little we understand about our lives, ourselves, and the vast universe unfolding around us, showing that our greatest strength lies in humbly embracing our own boundless and quiet ignorance. The secret of lasting change is to focus all of your energy, not on blindly fighting the shadows of the old, but on patiently building the new, allowing the gentle currents of time to wash away your heaviest past burdens. He who is not contented with what he already holds in his hands will never be contented with what he desires, for the restless soul seeks outward, forever blind to the quiet sanctuary of peace resting patiently within its depths. Beware the barrenness of a hopelessly busy life, where the days blur together into an endless marathon of fleeting tasks, leaving you exhausted at the finish line without ever having truly walked the quiet, meaningful path of your own soul. To find yourself, you must first learn to think for yourself, stepping away from the loud and chaotic noise of the unthinking crowd, finding solace in the silent twilight, where your own authentic voice can finally be heard clearly. An unexamined life is a journey taken in the dark, a silent drifting through the years without a map or a compass, missing the profound beauty of knowing why you breathe, why you love, and why you carry on. Fame and the admiration of strangers are but fleeting echoes in a vast canyon. Instead, cultivate a quiet garden of virtue within your own heart, where the blossoms of profound self-respect will never wither under the harsh, passing sun. When the debate is completely lost, slander inevitably becomes the blunt tool of the defeated. Maintain your inner stillness, and let the storm of their anger pass over you like dark clouds drifting harmlessly across a clear, starry night. Contentment is natural wealth, while endless luxury is merely an artificial poverty that quietly drains the spirit. Learn to sit peacefully in an empty room, and you will discover treasures that all the gold in the world could never buy. Employ your time carefully in improving yourself by deeply absorbing other men's writings, so that you shall come easily by what others have labored intensely for, gently weaving their hard-earned wisdom into the quiet tapestry of your own mind. Strong minds gently discuss powerful ideas. Average minds safely discuss fleeting events, and weak minds loudly discuss other people. Choose your conversations like you choose your closest friends, seeking those that elevate your spirit into the calm, quiet night. The mind is the pilot of the soul, and when we allow our desires to aggressively steer the ship, we sail into endless, turbulent storms. Take back the wheel, breathe deeply, and navigate toward the tranquil waters of understanding. Do not rush the natural unfolding of your life, for the most beautiful flowers bloom in their own quiet time. Trust in the slow, silent rhythm of the universe, and allow your truest self to gracefully emerge from the shadows. Envy is the painful ulcer of the soul, slowly eating away at the quiet joy that belongs to you. Let go of comparing your path to another's, and walk barefoot upon your own earth, feeling the steady ground beneath. We are what we repeatedly do, but true excellence is not a sudden, loud act. It is a quiet, steadfast habit formed in the silent moments when no one is watching, slowly carving your character from solid, enduring stone. The hardest of all battles is to gracefully conquer oneself, to quiet the loud demands of the ego, and to sit softly in the presence of your own flaws without anger, transforming your internal wars into lasting, peaceful treaties. A life spent endlessly chasing tomorrow is a life that entirely misses the profound beauty of today. Stop running toward the horizon. Sit beneath the shade of the present moment, and let the cool breeze wash over your weary spirit. Silence is a profound melody for those who can truly hear it. A sanctuary from the loud demands of the waking world, where the deepest truths are softly spoken, and the heaviest of heartaches are gently laid to rest. Be slow to fall into friendship, but when you are fully in, continue firm and constant. Let your loyalty be like a deep, quiet river that nourishes the roots of an ancient tree, surviving the harshest of winter frosts. Let him who would boldly move the world first gracefully move himself, cultivating an inner stillness so deep that the chaotic tremors of the outside world simply dissolve into the vast, unending ocean of his carefully guarded spiritual peace. The highest form of human intelligence is the ability to observe yourself without harsh judgment, watching your thoughts drift like autumn leaves on a slow-moving stream, acknowledging their brief presence before letting them quietly float away into the mist. Men often spend their youth sacrificing their health to urgently chase wealth, only to spend their later years sacrificing their wealth to desperately buy back their health. Find the quiet balance now, before the sands of time slip entirely away. The only true wisdom is in simply knowing you know absolutely nothing, shedding the heavy armor of intellectual pride, and walking into the vast mystery of existence with the wide, wondrous eyes of a child discovering the world anew. Do not let the harshness of the world steal your gentle nature. It takes far greater strength to remain soft in a rigid world, allowing your kindness to flow like water over the sharpest, most unforgiving stones in your path. A meaningful life is not measured by the accumulation of bright, shiny objects, but by the accumulation of quiet, profound moments, the sound of rain, the warmth of the sun, and the steady, comforting rhythm of your own breathing. Whenever you feel the heavy urge to speak out in sudden anger, take one deep, cleansing breath. Give the silence a chance to cool the fires of your mind, preventing words from becoming chains you must wear tomorrow. True strength is not found in the aggressive conquest of others, but in the quiet, steadfast mastery of your own chaotic desires, reigning over your internal kingdom with the gentle, guiding hand of a wise and compassionate inner monarch. We weep for the days that have rapidly slipped through our fingers, yet we carelessly throw away the fragile hours we hold right now. Anchor your spirit in the softly glowing embers of the present and feel their lasting warmth. The greatest tragedy of the human experience is not physical death, but what quietly dies inside a man while he still lives and breathes his fading curiosity, his lost wonder, and his forgotten connection to the deep, silent stars. To be truly wealthy is to intimately understand the art of having enough, to watch the sunset paint the evening sky, and realize that you require absolutely nothing more to be whole, grounded, and entirely at peace with yourself. Do not fear the quiet, lonely path, for it is often the only road that leads directly to your authentic self. The crowd will always guide you toward the loud, comforting middle, far away from your own unique, silent destiny. We spend so much time building walls to protect our fragile hearts from pain, forgetting that those very same walls trap us inside the dark. Dismantle your fears brick by quiet brick, and let the gentle light stream back in. A man who cannot comfortably sit alone with his own thoughts will forever be a slave to the endless distractions of the external world. Make peace with your solitude, and you will discover a loyal, quiet friend that never leaves. Forgiveness is not a grand gift you reluctantly bestow upon others, but a quiet, healing medicine you give to your own weary soul, gently untying the heavy, painful knots of resentment that have kept you anchored to the bitter past. The true measure of your character is not what you shout from the mountaintops in your moments of victory, but how you quietly carry yourself through the dark, lonely valleys when the world has seemingly turned its back on you. Do not anxiously mourn the fading of your youth, for aging is merely the slow, beautiful process of trading physical exuberance for deep, silent wisdom. Like a turbulent river finally calming as it widens to merge with the endless sea. Your mind is a fertile garden, and your thoughts are the seeds you plant every day. If you sow seeds of anger and regret, you will reap a harvest of thorns. But quiet patience will forever bloom into lasting peace. The most beautiful people are those who have known deep defeat, known silent suffering, known desperate struggle, and have slowly found their way out of the depths, carrying a profound, gentle appreciation that beautifully softens the edges of their souls. We are effortlessly drawn to the bright, roaring fires of sudden passion, yet we carelessly forget that it is the quiet, steady burning of the coals that keeps us truly warm throughout the long, dark, and unforgiving winter nights. If you wish to profoundly heal your spirit, you must first stop touching the wound with bitter memories. Let the quiet bandage of time do its sacred work, and trust that even the deepest cuts will eventually fade into scars. The universe does not harshly punish or lavishly reward us. It merely gently reflects the exact vibration of the energy we put out into the world, echoing our silent intentions back to us through the long corridors of time. Do not let the fear of failing quietly paralyze your spirit, for every misstep is simply a hidden stone on the path to understanding. Embrace your stumbles softly, knowing they are teaching your feet how to walk the true way. To hold onto intense anger is like tightly grasping a glowing hot coal, with the absolute intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the only one who quietly burns while the other person walks completely unharmed away. A man's true worth is never accurately found in the loud, boasting words he speaks to the world, but in the quiet, unseen promises he faithfully keeps to himself when the gentle blanket of the night falls softly around him. We suffer far more in the chaotic theater of our own imagination than we do in the quiet reality of the physical world. Bring your mind gently back to the breath, and watch the terrifying phantoms slowly dissolve into nothingness. The art of living well is delicately balancing the fierce drive to improve yourself with the quiet, profound acceptance of exactly who you are in this very moment. Standing perfectly still in the beautiful center of that swirling paradox. Let go of the desperate, exhausting need to control every ripple in the pond. Sometimes, the most profoundly powerful thing you can do is simply stand quietly on the shore, breathing deeply and watching the water gracefully settle itself. The answers to your deepest, most painful questions will never be found in the loud, chaotic noise of the busy marketplace, but rather in the sacred, uninterrupted silence of your own patiently listening heart, beating steadily in the dark. True freedom is not the careless ability to do whatever you want, but the profound inner power to gently refuse the loud demands of your own darker impulses, stepping softly away from the invisible chains of your unexamined desires. When your time inevitably comes to gently cross the threshold of this life, let it not be said that you merely existed in a quiet rush, but that you lingered softly, loved deeply, and truly felt the morning sun. The truest form of bravery is gracefully accepting the quiet, inevitable changing of the seasons within your own soul, letting go of withered leaves without sorrow, and trusting the silent earth to bring forth new blossoms in their proper time. A peaceful mind is never forged in the loud fires of endless ambition, but carefully cultivated in the quiet, empty spaces between our racing thoughts, where the gentle stillness slowly washes away the heavy burdens of the exhausting waking world. We frantically chase the fleeting illusions of control, forgetting that true mastery lies in softly surrendering to the vast, unknowable currents of the universe, allowing ourselves to gently float upon the deep waters rather than struggling against the relentless tide. To understand another human being, you must first completely silence the loud, judgmental voices echoing within your own mind, offering them a quiet, compassionate space where their deepest fears and fragile hopes can finally be spoken safely and truly heard. Do not trade your authentic, quiet truth for the cheap, loud applause of the unthinking crowd. For when the deafening noise finally fades into the night, you must still be able to live peacefully inside the house of your soul. Patience is a quiet, steady flame that warms the frozen spirit during the longest, darkest winters of our lives, gently reminding us that even the thickest ice must eventually melt under the soft, persistent touch of the returning morning sun. The greatest tragedy of our daily existence is that we carelessly sleepwalk through our most beautiful, fleeting moments, only waking up to their immense, quiet value when they have already slipped away into the soft, unchangeable mists of our memories. True wisdom is softly acknowledging that you cannot forcefully bend the vast world to your own rigid will, but rather gracefully learning how to harmoniously shape your own reactions to perfectly meet the world wherever it gently happens to be. When the heavy weight of the anxious world becomes entirely too much to bear, softly close your eyes, retreat into the quiet sanctuary of your own rhythmic breathing, and watch the terrifying storms slowly dissolve into the deep, peaceful night. He who quietly masters his own intense anger has conquered an enemy far more dangerous and utterly destructive than any physical army he might ever courageously face. Across the blood-stained soil of the most chaotic and terrifying worldly battlefields known, the deeply profound secret of profound happiness is simply learning to sincerely appreciate the quiet, mundane moments of ordinary existence, discovering the immense, magical beauty hidden within the softest, gentlest rustle of the evening wind through the swaying, ancient trees. Do not continuously burden your tired soul with the heavy, unchangeable regrets of yesterday or the terrifying, invisible anxieties of tomorrow. Gently release those phantoms into the ether and simply sit quietly within the warm, breathing sanctuary of right now. We mistakenly seek lasting fulfillment by endlessly gathering more superficial possessions, completely ignoring the quiet, simple truth that true spiritual wealth is gracefully attained by softly letting go of our exhausting desires and resting peacefully in the tranquil, empty spaces. A mind cluttered with the relentless noise of petty grievances and bitter resentments has absolutely no quiet room remaining for the gentle seeds of joy and deep compassion to ever take root and beautifully bloom into lasting, profound inner peace. The most challenging journey you will ever gracefully undertake is this silent, solitary pilgrimage from the loud, logical confines of your busy mind down into the vast, intuitive depths of your own patiently waiting heart, discovering true wisdom hiding there. Do not fiercely fight against the dark, suffocating shadows of your deepest fears. Instead, softly illuminate them with the gentle, unwavering light of your own self-awareness, watching them slowly shrink until they are merely harmless whispers in the quiet night. True elegance is not found in the extravagant display of worldly riches, but softly hidden within the graceful simplicity of a completely quiet soul that asks for absolutely nothing more than to peacefully observe the gentle unfolding of the universe. We build towering intellectual walls to protect ourselves from being deeply misunderstood. Yet we tragically realize too late that these same heavy stones keep out the quiet, gentle warmth of genuine human connection and the soft light of true understanding. When you gently let go of the exhausting need to constantly prove your own worth to a deaf and hurried world, you suddenly discover the immense, quiet freedom of simply existing exactly as you are, perfectly whole and entirely peaceful. The most profound conversations are never filled with loud, chaotic debates, but softly built in the vast, comfortable silences shared between two kindred spirits who perfectly understand the deep, unspoken language of the heart resting safely in the peaceful dark. Do not desperately rush to forcefully fill every quiet, empty moment with meaningless distraction. Softly allow the silence to beautifully stretch out before you like an endless, tranquil sea, letting its gentle waves carefully wash away your deepest, heaviest sorrows. We constantly seek profound meaning in the loud, chaotic events of the bustling world, completely forgetting that true enlightenment softly descends like the gentle evening dew, quietly resting upon the undisturbed blades of grass within our own peaceful, waiting souls. A man who quietly walks the solitary path of deep self-reflection will eventually discover that the most terrifying demons he fiercely battled were merely the exaggerated shadows of his own fragile insecurities, melting softly away in the warm morning light. The absolute highest form of spiritual maturity is gracefully realizing that you do not need to loudly defend your fragile beliefs. Simply let your quiet, unwavering actions softly whisper the profound truth of who you have truly chosen to become. Whenever you feel the heavy temptation to bitterly judge the flawed journey of another, gently pause and quietly remember that every single traveler is silently carrying a massive, invisible burden through the same dark, mysterious, and terribly beautiful human night. We frantically exhaust our precious energy trying to smoothly pave every single rough stone on our path, forgetting that softly walking barefoot over the uneven ground is exactly how the quiet soul slowly learns to intimately feel the living earth. Do not heavily mourn the quiet loss of your fiery, youthful ignorance for the soft, silver light of patient wisdom that slowly replaces it. We'll beautifully guide you safely through the darkest, coldest nights of your deeply profound earthly journey.